Mark and Paulette here, the two travelers in Mexico, and today we're going to talk to you about a few different things that we've discovered in our now 3 years of living here in Mexico. 3 years, yeah, time flies when you're having fun, and we certainly are having fun. So
time flies too when you get old.
That's true, but that's mostly just because you forget stuff.
I don't know about that, but I'm just saying, I remember as a kid, you used to think that time went by really fast.
Yeah.
I tell you what, when you get older, it goes by even faster.
That's true.
Yeah. And
So,
I don't think it's the forgettingness.
Well, in your case, maybe.
It's not like, what was that movie? Like 10-second, whatever his name was on that.
Okay, there's your prime example of forgetting stuff right there.
No.
So,
All right,
I think we should just move on with our...
Just cut all that out.
No, we're going to leave it in. Our first topic is going to be about pharmacies and prescriptions. And we've discovered some pretty interesting things. And I'll let you start it out.
Well, one of the things, and again, I don't know whether you guys already know this, but we're just trying to bring you this information. One of the things is that in the pharmacy, there's a lot of items that you can just purchase over the counter. You don't need a doctor's prescription. You can just go in there, show them what you need, or tell them what you need. A lot of times I'll just have a picture of the box or whatever and tell them what I need. For an example, one of them for sure is like my thyroid medication. I could just go to any pharmacy, tell them what strength I need, and I get it, no problem. In the United States, that is not a go at all. You definitely need a doctor's prescription for your thyroid medication. And the other one is like blood pressure meds. Anybody can go in looking for a specific brand or whatever for blood pressure meds, and you don't need a doctor's prescription for that either.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there's a lot more than that. Those are just two that come to mind.
Those are just a couple examples. We've experienced it with a few different things. And what else? We also discovered that a lot of times there'll be a price marked on the bottom of the bottle or the bottom of the box.
I'll show you. I'll be right back. Keep talking.
And that's not necessarily the price that you're going to be charged. That price represents the maximum price that can be charged.
Okay, and I'm going to show you because I just picked up some stuff. That is prescription in the United States, but it's not prescription here. It's called nystatin. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but anyhow, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Can you see the bottom right there? It tells you a price. Okay, and that price is normally what you're not going to be charged. It has the lot number, I guess it is, the date of expiration, and then a price. And so, like many times, this one says 75.50 pesos, which is like not quite $4, like $3.75.
Yeah.
And what'll happen is when they bring it up on the register, it'll be like 50 pesos, which is like $2.50. So it's just interesting. I just found that out from my friend who is a doctor, but I always, well, not always, but I just could never figure out why that price was never charged to me when it's listed on the box. Now I know. That's like the maximum that they can charge you, but they don't.
So that's a good thing to check if you are buying stuff. Look at the box or the bottom of the box, or and make sure that you're not being overcharged.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Another thing is that at a lot of the pharmacies, like Ahora, Similares, and Guadalajara, those are pretty big pharmacies that are everywhere in Mexico. And some places, depending on where you live, probably have other named pharmacies, but those are what we've seen, and those are what we have here where we live. There's a lot of times doctors' offices that are attached to the pharmacies. And I think we might have talked about this once before, but anyhow, it's just kind of good information. So if you don't have a doctor, which a lot of people don't even have insurance in Mexico, that's a personal choice thing. If they want private insurance, or they want the IMS insurance, or they just want to wing it, you can go and see the doctor that's right next to the pharmacy, and sometimes they'll have a price board that's there that'll say like 60 pesos, for example. 60 pesos is like $3, and that's what you pay to see the doctor when you're done seeing him. Others, they just have like a tip jar on their desk, and you can put whatever you want in the tip jar. So that's just something that's totally different than the United States.
Yeah, and they will take their time with you. They ask you a bunch of questions and stuff, and sometimes they will do, some basic examinations on you.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes they can spend, 20 minutes to a half an hour with you, asking you questions, examining you, stuff like that. So it's not like it's some, fly-by whatever pharmacy doctor that, doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, these guys really take the time. And we've had really good experiences since we've been here in 3 years.
Good experiences with them, yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is that, like if you go in there, let's say you have a bottle of Bayer aspirin, and you tell them that you want, can you get this? And they'll look at you and they'll tell you, no, they don't have it. Okay, so then you're like, okay, well, like that's the end of it, or what? You have to basically tell them, that you want something like this. Otherwise, they'll just tell you that they don't have it, and that's about a wrap on their end.
Right.
I mean, they're not going to suggest another item. They're not going to,
They'll just look at it. If you're holding a bottle of Bayer aspirin, if they don't have Bayer aspirin, they'll tell you no. So you have to say like, Mismo.
Like the same, like something like it, Otherwise, they'll just tell you no, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Don't always take no as the final answer. Ask more questions.
Right. And some smaller pharmacies, because you will find like Guadalajara is a pretty big pharmacy, they'll just about have everything that you need. Smaller ones, like a little Similaris pharmacy, like you might go in there looking for something specific, and you know that they carry it, and they'll just tell you no, they don't have it. And that's it. That's the end of that. So then you have to go somewhere else to another pharmacy and ask if they have it. So
just be sure, if you don't need a specific brand, just be sure to ask if they have something like it, and most of the time I believe they will.
Yeah, I mean, if you need a specific brand and it's a smaller pharmacy, then just go elsewhere. Go to Guadalajara, go to Ahora. Some Similaris don't carry items, or they seem to be out more, I think.
Yeah, but also Costco pharmacy, Sam's Club pharmacy, although they won't really have a doctor attached to them, but you can go there, and all of the same rules apply. A lot of times, if it's an over-the-counter drug here in Mexico, they'll just hand it to you. You don't have to show a prescription. Even a lot of times when you do have a prescription drug, you hand them this prescription, they fill it, they give you
your prescription back.
Prescription paper back plus the medicine.
Right, and you'll never see that in the United States either. It just isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, another one that I thought of was, what's that one everybody was taking for COVID? That one you could get here. Ivermectin. Yeah, that was another one that you could get here. And in the U.S. that was a real issue.
Yeah.
But here you could get it over the counter.
Yeah, over the counter. All right, topic number 2.
Topic number 2 is about taxes being included in the price. You want to take that one?
Sure. When you go shopping for stuff in grocery stores and what have you, the price that you see on the shelf is the price of that item. The tax is already built into the price. So when you get to the register and pay it, it should reflect exactly what you saw on the price tag.
Yeah, sometimes the receipts though will break it down.
Yeah.
The receipt will show the tax amount separately,
Right.
but the prices that you always see on the shelves will be the taxes included.
Yeah.
So that's one nice thing, I think.
That's a good point, because Paulette, she likes to examine every receipt we get pretty much, and she'll see that the price of an item will be different but lower than what was marked on the shelf, and then later you see the additional line item for the tax.
Right, exactly. So they, like I said, whatever you buy on the shelf, whatever the price is, that includes the tax. The receipt will have it broken out.
So, go ahead.
The other thing is that there is tax on service in Mexico, which in the United States, my experience living in California, there was no taxes on services.
Of course, in California, pretty much everything else was taxed, but that's neither here or there.
Right, but on services, there was no tax. Here in Mexico, there is tax on services. And I'm going to just show you guys something, because my Mexican car insurance just came up. It expires tomorrow. And I just want to kind of show you what the bottom part of the bill looks like, how they have the taxes added in. There's also a policy fee. It's not much, but still they have the tax, which is 16% on a service charge for my car insurance, and then they have the total amount. So I'm going to show you this right here. You can focus in on that. Okay, so again, it's not very much, but they have a policy fee, which they kind of break out, which is 10.10 pesos, which is like 50 cents. It's not much. And then they have the 16% IVA or VAT tax, and VAT stands for what?
Value added tax.
Right. So that's 16% throughout Mexico, no matter what. And that's 57 pesos and 81 cents, which is about $3. And then it says my total amount that's due.
So while you had that number up there, it's $419.13. That's in U.S. dollars.
It's in U.S. dollars, right? This was in U.S. dollars.
That's how he supplied it to us. However, segueing into something else here, he gave us a slip of paper that we could go pay that at different banks.
Okay, let me show you this. This is interesting. Okay, so this is another funny story too, is I contacted him the beginning of November because my car insurance on my policy says it's going to expire on the 26th, which is tomorrow. So I contacted him at the beginning of the month, message him, and I'm gonna, do it, blah, 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 blah. But this is how it works in Mexico. This has been my experience anyhow. Nothing is quick. Nothing is, let's take care of it 3 weeks in advance. Nope, doesn't happen like that. He told me that I would have my policy, which is right here, which I have, by noon today. Okay, and it expires tomorrow. That's how things are done in Mexico. My experience, maybe you guys have different experiences. I'm glad if you do, that's great. But this has been my experience. Nothing happens before. It just doesn't. It like the day of, the day before, that's about it.
Yeah.
Like there's no rush, there's nothing in advance. There's nothing like if I had my car insurance policy in the States or whatever, they would use my credit card and it would automatically get renewed every time that it comes up. Not here in Mexico.
Nope.
No, not at all. They don't do that. So what they do I'm going to show you this too. What they do is there's a couple of banks here in Mexico. One of them is Banamex. One of them is BBVA. One of them is HSBC, and one of them is Santander. How do you say that? Santander. So what my agent did is he gives you a receipt, okay? And each bank has a different code for the car insurance company. So depending on which bank I decide to take it to,
it's a different reference code.
It's a different reference code.
So
what'll happen is you take this paper up to the bank. Like today we went to HSBC, okay, which is, where is it? This one right here, all right? And HSBC has their own code. It tells you the dollar amount. Each of them have the same dollar amount that's due, and that's in pesos. So you take that up there and you give them your money. We pay in cash. And then they'll give you a receipt that'll look like that. Okay. And then they'll staple it on for you. And then what you do is take a picture, send it to your insurance agent to show that you went to the bank, you've got the receipt that it's paid now, and that's it. And my insurance is now paid for the year, and that'll be the end of that. I really won't have any more contact with my agent.
And they don't even contact you at the end of the year to notify you that your insurance is running out. That's on to you. That's up to you to keep track of that. And for those wondering, yes, that was $419 full coverage for a year.
Yeah. Let's see. Where's my policy? I mean, I don't know if you guys want to know any detail, but yeah. I mean, I won't go into the detail on what it covers per whatever. But yeah, it is full coverage on my vehicle. It's a pretty good policy. Last year, it was $368.
Yeah.
So I questioned it because this year it's $419, and he says inflation, and he said that due to COVID in 2020 and 21 that they lowered, I don't know, the insurance or something.
And now it's gone back up.
Right, but what are you going to do? The only other thing you could do is you can shop around if you want to, or you just, pay it and be done with it and move on.
And I just want to say one thing. Car insurance companies are not the only people that do that, where they send you a list of reference codes for different banks. A lot of the places do that. When we got our Eames insurance when we first got here.
IMSS, which is the government insurance.
That way, and that happened to us a few other times with different things. So
right, and it was the same thing. They gave you a receipt, you took it to the bank, or they gave you a I don't even know, like a bill thing. I mean, this is the bill thing, what it looks like. Okay, and you got the same thing from IMSS. You had to go to the bank, you had to do the same thing, give them the piece of paper, they give you the receipt, then you actually had to go back to IMSS and show them that you had paid. Yeah. So everything works a little different.
Yeah, that could be frustrating for some people because a lot of it is just not a one-step process.
Nope.
Or sometimes it's 2 or 3 or 4 steps to get back to eventually the same place where you started out.
Yeah, because maybe somebody forgot to tell you that you needed an extra whatever, you needed to bring this with you, and you didn't. You brought, A, B, and C, and D with you, but you didn't bring that last item with you because you weren't told.
You didn't bring E with you, so now you have to go back and get E.
Right, and then make another trip.
Yeah.
So that sort of stuff, I mean, that happened to us. I remember that. So many different things will happen along the way, and you just need to take a breath.
It's important to have Zen moments.
It is.
What do I always tell you?
I don't
It's
know.
all
Everything
part
is
of
a
the
challenge.
experience. Well,
Well, no, yeah, no, part of the adventure.
yeah, it's all part of the adventure.
I say challenge.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mark always says, oh, it's part of the adventure.
Uh-huh.
Well, sometimes that adventure can just wear on your nerves. But anyhow, so that's that. So those are just some little tidbits we wanted to share with you guys, and they give you some information, because there's a lot of stuff that you are not going to know if you move out to Mexico.
Yeah.
And those are just little tidbits of information that's good to know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I always say, don't get your panties in a wad, don't get your panties in a bunch, whatever. You just need to chill. And for a type A personality person like me, sometimes that's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
That really is. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to do. If it's one step, that's one thing. But when it comes to 3 steps and sometimes a 4th step, it can be a little wearing on you.
Yeah.
But you just,
Especially when you get to the point when you want to check out on step number 3, but there's still step 4, maybe step 5.
yeah. It's just a little frustrating. You just have to
That's-
deal with it.
It's easier for me to deal with because Paulette is type A personality, I'm like way at the other end of the
He's like
the
on
scale.
Quaaludes all the time.
Yeah.
He's like Mr. like lax, like the kind of personality that just sinks into the sofa. You know what I mean? Like everything is just cool and it's not a big deal. Where for me, it is. It is a big deal.
Yeah.
It gets frustrating. But you have to understand that's just kind of how things work in Mexico. I mean, nothing is the same either. What might have been how you did it, I don't know, last year will change for this year. Now something else is required. The way that a friend might have opened up their bank account is way different for you. Now 5 months later, it's totally different.
Totally different, yeah.
So you just have to go with the flow, which is not always easy to do for a type A personality.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Sometimes she turns into like the Tasmanian devil on me.
But just for like a moment.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Or
last
2.
that long.
Oh, yeah, it passes pretty quickly.
It does.
As quickly as it comes on, it goes away.
It does. That's
So.
true.
Shall we talk about the elephant in the room first?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Let's talk about the
All right.
elephant in the room.
Yep, you saw it. That is a bright red Christmas tree. What do you think? A little bit much? Paulette's thinking about keeping it up year round and just decorating it with different stuff as holidays
Different
come and
holidays.
go.
Yeah. Yeah. It was an expensive tree. Trees in Mexico are expensive, by the way, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah,
And more than you would pay in the United States.
yeah,
But, like one of my friends said, like that is like so you, because I'm a woman of color. I am a woman of color. I love my color. Look at my mural. Look at my red tree.
mm-hmm.
I'm just crazy about a lot of color.
Yeah. All right, so you want to close it out?
Yeah.
All
As
right.
always, from the 2 travelers in Mexico.
What she did.
Bye, guys.
Fine.